I nearly caused a huge problem with my tank. It was completely unavoidable and I took my eye off the ball. Stay tuned to find out what I got up to. Hi guys, welcome back to Paul UK Reefer. It's been a few weeks since my last update, so there's a few things to get through today. So the first of which is obviously the intro screen that I just gave you. So a couple of weeks back, I was working inside the sump of the tank. I reached in and knocked my ATO Wi-Fi plug, unknowingly turning the thing off. So obviously this plug usually makes a beep and a noise, and I didn't hear it whether it did or not. So I went on with myself, not really thinking much about it, and obviously the auto top-up comes in quite often throughout a day. On this occasion, it was probably about 2 days later where I started getting some weird readings come through, an alarm on the apex. So I set this whole thing up for exactly that reason, to tell me when there's a problem. The temperature probe started reading low temperature, which was really strange. So I kind of went to the tank, checked the normal temperature gauge, which was on the thermostat, and that was reading okay. So I was like, that's a bit weird, it must just be the probe playing up. So I completely ignored the alarm. Again, the whole reason why I got the apex was to tell me when something went wrong. I decided on this occasion not to pay any attention to it. I then decided a day later to go into the tank, have a look at the temperature probe to see what was going on. And at that very moment, I noticed that inside of the tank where the auto top-up replaces the water by the return pump, the water was all but out and the return pump was about to start sucking air. That would have caused loads of issues with potentially damaging the pump, potentially, if not found quicker than that, also leaving the sump completely empty of water, nothing returning back to the tank, no heating, no filtration. So it was a very, very close call, and it was one that was completely avoidable because the apex told me so. So if there's anything to learn from that, guys, is if you get an alarm through, don't dismiss it. I see it so many times and I'm quick to jump on everyone and say, you put all these redundancies in so nothing go wrong. Even with all this equipment, it can still go wrong. And if you do get an alarm, just research every part of why that might have come up, because as what happened with this tank, it could have been a disaster. Luckily enough, I dumped my head in the sump and found it. So that was that one. So close call. The tank survived, everything's okay. We move on. So another thing I wanted to cover in this update was the technology that I'm using to film this video now, and on my previous video you might have noticed a bit more of a cinematic tour of the tank. Videography is something that I'm quite new to and I'm really getting into it, so I've just bought myself a new DSLR camera and an updated Mac, and all these things are meaning that I can produce some better quality videos. Hopefully, if you could comment in the description below, or comment below, and let me know what you think of this footage. This is filmed in 4K and I'm hoping that it uploads that way into YouTube, so it should be a little bit more detailed, and I'm hoping that generally the videos that come through should be of a higher standard. So please do let me know what you think of this one. This is filmed in 4K at 24 frames per second. So I'd really be interested to see your feedback on that one. One thing I am going to do with this new camera is, hopefully when the COVID restrictions are now looking like they're going to be lifted, we're going to start looking at going out to film some more content. So whilst it's brilliant having a reef tank, corals don't grow that fast. So I really am sort of keen on creating new content for you guys. So a couple of my thoughts are to speak to some of the distributors and suppliers in the industry, including the local fish shops, to see if any of them want me to do a tank, a sort of local fish shop tour, which I know that a few people like seeing. So that's something, and obviously with the right equipment you can do some really good cinematic videos of some of their display tanks, so that's something that interests me. So I'll be reaching out to anybody, and if there are any local fish stores or suppliers in the northwest of England watching this video, please do contact me via Instagram and maybe we can sort something out. Likewise, I'm also interested in other hobbyist tanks. There's a YouTube channel called Sea Reefer, and it's one I've been watching for years, and he's really good with his camera work, and he films some amazing tanks. So whilst they don't have to be world breaking tanks, I'm definitely interested again in any local reefers in the northwest who've got something they want to show off. Perhaps could come and film the tank, do a quick Q&A on the tank itself, because I know that all of the reasons that I watch YouTube and all the people who follow this channel do, because they like to see sort of different tanks and different methodologies in reef keeping. So if this is something that's of interest, please do grab hold of me on Instagram. The Instagram handle is @PaulUKReefer. So in a moment I'm going to get the camera off the tripod, show you the tank. There's a number of new frags that we've got in there. Well, I say new, they've been acclimatising for a good few weeks now, probably 4 to 5 weeks. And that's because some of them are quite delicate SPS, acropora and millipora corals. So they're of interest. I'll show you them in a moment. Before that, another thing that I've been doing, you might have caught it, is that I went on a live stream with a couple of reefers that I know on YouTube, and I'm sure most of the subscribers here will do as well. They've got their own live stream, and I just wanted to give it a quick shout out. So every Friday from 8 till 10 UK GMT time, they have a Reefers live stream. It's really good. Loads of people join in, loads of people from the community, and chat reef, and they have a few special guests. Luckily enough, last week, or the week before last, I was given the opportunity to join them, which was great fun. It went very, very quickly, so I'm hoping to join them again soon for more Reef Natter, but I just wanted to give them a shout out. That the YouTube stream itself goes across all of their channels, so check them out. They are Fish Palace, Jade's Real Reef, Moggs' Aquarium, and The Bearded Reef. So thumbs up to them guys. It's also got me onto thinking 2 hours wasn't enough to chat live to people. I really enjoyed it, and whilst I don't want to compete with their extremely professional setup, I'm thinking of doing the odd ad hoc live stream myself. So I've tested out a bit of the equipment and the software to do it, and it seems to work. So again, if any of you are interested in a live stream, maybe to chat sort of reef politics, news in the industry, Q&A sessions, anything like that, it's something that I'm definitely looking to do. I might do a trial one next week, and I'll advertise it on the Instagram page and on the YouTube community tab. So let me know if there's any topics you wanted to cover. I'm thinking along the lines of the latest release of the Dark Hobby, the video there, that goes on about the hobby itself, the updates on maybe BRS being bought, buying out Marine Depot, the costs of corals, fish, all that sort of stuff. But if there's any sort of topics you want to cover or anything you'd like, then let me know. I'm thinking next week, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday in the evening, just for an hour or so to see how it all goes. And maybe if you can't join it live, you can watch it back. So do let me know what you think about that. I'm obviously only going to provide content that's useful to everybody. So that's something that I've been toying with. So right now, I'm going to get you off the tripod. You can have a look at the tank. I'll show you some of the latest growth, and you can see some of the new frags. Okay, so here we are on the tank view. So this Canon EOS 90D is what I'm filming on in 4K. I've got an orange filter on the lens as well, so it makes it a little bit clearer. There's still a bit of reflection, so bear with me, but the tank shots are pretty clear. So we'll move firstly over to the new frags. I'm going to do, once they're in place, I'll tell you the name of them or where I got them all from, but basically between Prestige Reef and Signature Frags, these are where they supplied. They're all really nicely colouring up now, high-end acros, so I'm dead excited about them. They've just basically started on this frag rack and been moved from the bottom of the tank there all the way up slowly over a matter of weeks, just to acclimatise to the light, because I've got pretty strong lighting on this system. So they'll be in the tank soon. So moving on also, so the two other new frags that went in a few weeks back, you might have seen them on my Instagram channel. You can just make it out there. There's a Montipora Capricornus that is actually grafted, so you can see in there. Can't really zoom in anymore on this lens, unfortunately, but it's grafted with green and sort of orangey red, and that is just settling in nicely now. It's been there a few weeks, and hopefully that will start plating out soon, like these guys have been doing, because these have all pretty much quadrupled in size since they went in. So the Monty garden is really taking shape now, and eventually I'm hoping that there'll be some really great plating corals coming out all over this section of the tank. And the other one that I added is my first ever acan, and here it is. This is a rainbow acan, and we're just trying to get it to focus. That should get it. So you can see the colours already from here. I've got a really great photo of it on the Instagram page, but the colours are unreal, and I can't wait for that to grow out. That is going to look amazing. One other area that I thought was interesting, I've got this Montipora stellata coral here, and it's shedded a couple of branches over the last couple of weeks, and as you can see them just around it, so if I can show you maybe here and here, they've dropped off based on probably being hit by a fish or something like that, and they've encrusted themselves back in the rock and are starting to grow as new colonies. So I found it really interesting. When I first saw them, I was like, oh, I better move them because I haven't put that there, and then I realised actually this is a real reef growing here, and this is exactly what it would do in the wild. So I'm really interested to see how these new frags that are accidental start to grow. So there's a nice little project and something interesting to look at. The purple Postulipora is the next one that I need to show you, which is just kind of here in this shot here. Now this is really starting to colour up. You can see the greens and the purples coming out. That took ages to really establish itself, but it's really looking great. I've got another piece of, I think they called it Chernobyl Montipora here, which the colour, again, it's probably not being done any justice at all on this camera, but it's really fluorescent green. That's nearly doubled in size now, so it took a bit to get going, and then it's shot off and it's going really well. Likewise, the war corals, that is absolutely, it's all growing downwards, which I found quite interesting, and actually is really good because the further up it goes, the closer it gets to that other coral. But yeah, it's again doubled over the rocks and looking really good. Really like that. The other Montiporas down here, as you can see here, that has doubled in size over the rocks. Likewise, this one is now encrusting everywhere. So yeah, there's quite a few that are looking really good. And just when I talked about corals that have been fragged by the fish, there's one there as well. The branch there that you can just see at the bottom there, that's broken off and has now established itself and is trying to grow as a new colony. So that's great. That's the red hystrix, or pink hystrix, so to speak. So that'll be really interesting to see what happens with them. So the other one that I didn't do an update on last time was the jack-o'-lantern lepto. So this coral here, you can see, again, it's quite a slow grower, but you can see now it's really encrusted over if the fish stops dive bombing the shot. It's really encrusting over the rocks there and starting to look really good. I'm hoping that it's going to take up all of that rock eventually. There's a rainbow Monty next to it there. That's just starting to establish itself. That was a bit of a later addition. And likewise another rainbow, sorry, stylo I meant. And then there's another rainbow stylo there. So yeah, I've updated you on most of the other corals, but I'll just give you a quick scan across so you can see the growth. The stellata in the middle there is really branching out in a beautiful shape now. The fish are all hungry and want to be fed, so hence they're getting in the shot. But you can see all the different branches coming off of that. If I do that way, yeah, looking brilliant. So I'm dead happy with the growth on the tank. The green hystrix is a right piece as well. Look at that to focus, it's gorgeous. So yeah, they're all going really well. The tank's looking great. I'll take you down to the sump now. I have got a yellow or orange filter on, so it might look slightly different, but I've put a new sump light below because I couldn't really see much at all, so bear with me on the shaky camera work. We've got a plug to switch it on. There it goes, it's on. So quick tour. Everything's looking nice now under these lights. We're still only dosing Acro Power and Alpha Reef, about 50-60 mils of Alpha Reef a day, 5 mils of Acro Power. The sump's going great. Just changed the filter sock. That's lasted me best part of 4 or 5 months. Oh, live auto top up. That wasn't the plan. You can tell there the water's just coming in from the auto top up. So it does take a bit of water. Skimmer's really bedded in well. Look at how dark that skim 8 is. I'm running it quite a dry skim to get as much out as possible. UV still going well. The only thing that I have done is added a load of snails into the sump. So I was vacuuming it out, but my nitrate and phosphate levels aren't too bad. So it's a little bit grimy at the bottom there, but if you see, there's some sponges and all sorts. But if you can see now, I've got a few snails in there working away. Here's one. I'll show you there. You see at the bottom there? There's quite a number of them. There's loads of, you can see on the biomedia, there's loads of sponges appearing, which are a good sign of filter feeders. And yeah, so I added a few snails in the bottom to keep the bottom clean. But other than that, the tank is going along nicely. So on that note, I'm going to end the update there. I'll have a look at all your comments about a potential live stream for next week. Would love you to join me. And if it goes well, we'll then look at maybe perhaps bringing other people in every now and again. And I think rather than it just being Q&A or something like that, I think it'd be good to have a topic each week or have sort of an update on industry news and things like that. So again, anything that you want to see in that, let me know. You can comment below or message me on Instagram at Paul UK Reefer. Until the next time, take it easy. Cheers.